Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Bulletproof Dental Practice Podcast. I'm your co host, Dr. Peter Boulden, with my extremely good looking other co host, Dr. Craig Spodak. Hey, did you see that? And you got a comment in the YouTube thing about how good looking you were, by the way?
You're totally effing with me right
I
now,
am
right?
not. I am
Wow.
not. No,
Wow.
someone said, it literally said, your wife better be a perfect 10.
Wow. Geez. You know
So,
what it is? It's the video. I'm going to tell that person thank you, but when you meet me in person,
wait, you're saying
um,
you're better on video than in person?
yeah, for sure. For
Wow.
sure. 100%. There's something, I have this Zoom effect. For those of you who are watching this right now, you could see I'm doing it right now. I have virtual backgrounds. I also have like virtual face things as well. I think I must be that.
Like filter, you have the filters on, like the
Yeah,
Facebook filters and such.
exactly. All that stuff, the Snapchat filters.
Hey, well, you
That's
missed the
awesome.
last podcast because you let me fly solo, and that was I did the SWOT analysis, right? And it was I have to say it was probably one of the best ones ever.
I love
I'm
it.
just kidding.
It's so good that you just I love how confident you are, man. I love talking to you. By the way, for those listening to this is like a normal conversation I have with Pete. Pete will say something just about himself and I will just freaking crack up. I'm
Wait,
like, did you really think that about you? You're like, and you're serious, you're joking, but you're not. You're not joking. You're
yeah.
not joking. You're not joking, but it's all good. Yeah. So I'm sorry that I'm joining you on this one. I'm sorry to weigh you down. I'll try to add as little comment to you as possible with this one.
Sometimes it's heavy. But so today there's something I want to discuss we always talk about this on our summits, and something that drives me a little bit crazy. And as you get more stressed for time, it seems to be a little bit more something that irks me more and more. But you ever had someone come up to you? So the topic of today is kind of the right and the wrong way to ask for someone's help or advice. Okay.
Yep.
So this is how, in my opinion, like the what am I trying to say? The bad pitch would be, right? Hey, I put literally no thought or effort into it, but I'd love to pick your brain for a second.
That sounds painful, by the way.
That sounds well,
because
right,
your brain is encapsulated in your skull. So picking at it would be really.
But you get that. Hey, you got 5 minutes? You want to get coffee? Hey, how about we go grab lunch? I'd love to pick your brain, right? Versus a scenario where like, hey, I've carefully researched X. I've done Y and Z, trying to solve this myself. I've got 2 specific questions that I'd love to get an answer on from your experience. Would you mind helping, kind of thing? Right. And so you talk about this being the tyranny of how.
The tyranny of how, yeah.
So,
because you know what it is, Pete? You know what? Yeah, I'm so happy we're talking about this. So it's really, we always talk about how it's wastes a lot of calories to think. Thinking's hard work. And it's actually that people have not thought about what they need just yet. So they don't want to spend the calories and the hard effort to actually think out what is my problem. So what they really do is like, I really want to just pick your brain. And they don't even know what they want to pick your brain about, because what they're probably thinking is, they haven't spent enough time thinking about what their problem is. So they're automatically going to the solution. I bet you I just need to learn marketing. If I could learn marketing from Peter, I bet you my practice would fall into place. All I really need is marketing. So they've misdiagnosed their problem, and their cure is to pick your brain for this one specific thing. And when you start this conversation of like, okay, well, what do you want? Well, I just really want to learn marketing. Well, what do you want to know about it? And then you start delving in, all of a sudden you realize, oh shit, this person actually doesn't know what they need, because they're telling you that I'm super burnt out and I hate dentistry and blah, blah, blah. And my assistant is quitting. And we've got these negative reviews. I'm like, whoa, you don't need any marketing then. We need to go like a step back. So it's annoying and frustrating, because everybody wants to go into how do you do this? They want the recipe, the cookbook. How do we do this? And I don't remember where I got it from, but it's called the tyranny of how. And when you're into how, you'll never take the step to figure out the what and the why, which is the most important thing. And I know it sounds cliche and a broken record, but how will never get you anywhere, because it's not just the 5 easy steps. That shit's clickbait. 5 easy steps to lose weight, 4 things never to do, 3 things to always say. That's just clickbait. It's not going to get you anywhere. It tricks your brain into thinking I'm going to get a hack. And there are hacks, and I know, Pete, you love hacks, but there's no
Well, I
hack
love
for hustle.
processes, right?
Right.
Hacks is something, but I do, yeah. And a lot of times there can be processes, but you're right. Until you laser focus on what you want, you can
Right.
never figure on it's going to be almost impossible to figure out how to get there.
Right. Yeah. And there's just no, I met with a dentist, really iconic New York City dentist, a really good guy. And I found myself just going to the tyranny of how as well. So he has these associates that work with him. And we hear a lot about how associateships, long-term associates associateships are hard to manage and to make successful. This guy's got like 2 or 3 that are like 20 years in place. And I went into the same default. I'm like, dude, how do you do that? What are your steps? And as he's like talking, I'm like, oh shit, this guy does not have a cookbook. He's just a freaking epic leader. He's a rock star. I could start telling, I realized I asked him the wrong question. And really what I needed to do is just observe how he is as a leader. Because he creates amazing relationships, and the best contracts and the best agreements and the best formulas cannot substitute for iconic relationships, because all business is relationships. If you manage your relationships well, your business will grow. So it was interesting. I don't know where I was going with that, but
No, it's
what I think, let me try to rephrase that so I make some sense to people. What, even as I can talk to everybody and you about the tyranny of how, I still find myself misunderstanding what I really need. And I wind up asking the how to when I really just need to shut the fuck up and listen.
Well, and the reason I want to bring this up is, right, because a lot of times you have one chance at someone. Like, let's say you want a mentor, or you have a big business person or whatever, and right, and you want to talk to them for good reason, because they have the chops and because they've accomplished a lot, and probably time is their most precious thing. They've got plenty of money, possibly, right? But time is the one thing we've never been able to figure out how to create more of. And so coming to someone and saying, hey, I want to pick your brain, gives super successful people, whether that's you're looking for a dental mentor or something, but super successful people get hives from that question, because what does that mean, right? How much time does this look like? Not that they don't want to help, but it creates anxiety. But if you come and you say, hey, I really want you to teach me on the XYZ thing you did with sinus lifts, or I really want to teach me how you did, Facebook marketing to XYZ segment, right? If you get laser focused with your specificity of your how, of what you're trying to find out, that gets people engaged, as opposed to, Craig, when you have people come and say, hey, Craig, let's go to lunch. And you're saying like, oh, this could be a colossal waste of time for both of us.
Are they trying to sell me life insurance?
Totally.
Or they want to learn how to do Invisalign?
Right. And so I'm saying, in our times, your net worth is your network, right? And if you can't find ways to get a better network by using good conversational ways to hack your way into a coffee meeting, don't use, hey, let me pick your brains. Who in their right mind is gonna be like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let me just use my time for you to leverage, the thing that took me an entire career to try and do. Come with specifics, and also come with a benefit to them, right? Meaning that, like, find a way to make it almost, if I do this, like, put it in benefited verbiage for them. That makes sense, Greg?
Always. Everything should be in benefited verbiage. And
right.
the benefit is to you.
I'll buy you a night, can I pick your brain on Facebook marketing? I'd love to buy you, an amazing steak dinner or something, right? Or I'd love to take you, or I'd love to send you, I don't know, something that does a reciprocation.
Yeah, I don't think that's what you're trying to say. I think that, because even it's not that we want to be transactional. It's just that the pick your brain means I don't know what it alludes to the fact that the person doesn't know what they need. And that's frustrating, because what I find most frustrating is that people haven't done the hard discovery. Everybody wants to hijack a vision. Everyone wants to hijack what they've done or what they've been told to do. And then they get stuck and they've got to go do it. And then it's just people haven't done the why. So it's refreshing when you meet someone and they tell you the story. Hey, I started off here and I tried this and got my butt kicked here and I learned that. And what I need, just to your point, what I need to know is these 3 things. But really what I think the verbiage of pick your brain really means is I'd love to get some proximity to you.
Right.
And proximity, as Tony always says, proximity is power. And proximity is power because it teaches you a different way of thinking. You always say, Pete, if you have 5 broke friends, you're going to be the 6th. If you have 5 super successful friends, you'll be the 6th. And it's not because you learn what they do. You learn the thought process of how they approach things. Thought process is like a virus. You can get
the success has left many clues, like Tony's,
right.
like you say, right? And so,
right. But the way of thinking is contagious, whether it's negative. So you hang around with a bunch of people and they're just constantly making freaking excuses. Successful people when they own results. So when there's legit things that happen, like a fire in your building, like you had, they still own the result. They're like, yeah, fire happened, but there's a silver lining. I got this and that, and I bounced back. Versus like you meet these people and it's like, well, what happened was this happened, then the girl broke up with me, and then I got a fire, and then the hurricane came, and all of a sudden I'm like, is there anything in the last 5 years that you could say is your fault? Any part of the last 5 years of your life that you could honestly say you caused or you had effect on? And if they say yes, then you got something to work with. If they say no, then you're just being sold a bunch of crap and a bunch of excuses. No, it's true, because that the psychology and the way of thinking is the most important thing. If you have someone that thinks differently, that's going to be the most transformational aspect for you to grow, as someone that thinks differently.
And I think deep down, look, everyone loves, it's not that, don't ever be afraid to ask someone for their help or their how, right? Because I think deep down, we as humans we feel really good helping, right? But we don't want to sign up for these long commitments of potentially like, don't make me figure out your how and the solution too, right? Come with very laser focused things on what you want to achieve, on how it can help move the needle in a quantified, because then we can calibrate, Greg, or whoever it is can calibrate, hey, this will only take 10 minutes. This will only, versus this could be a 2-day conversation.
Yeah, it's true. But it's nice though, Pete, is always in discovering with and working with people and learning their problems. Invariably, it's a 2-way street. You always learn. It's amazing how much I've learned from people that I mentor, and it's something to be. It's something that I literally love to do. So I found myself saying yes to the pick your brain thing, and then time got too precious, and then thank God I have a venue with the podcast and the summit and stuff like that I can scale it, so we can give our information and everything out at scale like this, and even better for free without having to take up time. But it's I realize that over and over again, people come with a specific thing and they've got the problem all wrong. I mean, we do that with each other oftentimes. You will tell me, yeah, you misdiagnose because we don't know, and the human brain craves connection. So in the absence of understanding, we'll make an excuse. You know what it is? I hate clinical. I don't like clinical. I really don't want to be doing clinical. I need to be an office. I need to be a manager. I need to be CEO of my practice. And then they realize that, oh shit, I used to produce $1 million at clinical, and now I'm CEO. So I cost my organization $1 million to be a CEO. You better be a pretty good fucking CEO to be $1 million CEO. Right. You're probably $125,000 CEO. But if you take off your production, that's what your organizational weight is. So it's very important to remember that, and then when you meet these people, like, I want to pick your brain about, getting out of clinical and doing this. Well, why do you want to do that? Well, I want to make money when I'm not working. Well, are you really good at that? And little by little, you start weeding it away. And all of a sudden they realize and you realize together at the same time, like, oh, you don't really know what you want. And that's cool. But that's discovery you really got to do on your own.
Yeah. And I like when you go through the exercise with people and it's like, you make them, for everything that's said, you say, well, why? Well, why? Right. And it keeps going down the levels. And then finally you distill it down to like the true why, when you can't like kind of say, well, why anymore. And so I just, it's the end, like that is your true why.
Yeah. And it's so funny because we do the same thing with each other, Pete. I'm like, this is what I want. And then, well, why? And then why and why? And it's just like, oh my God, it's amazing how being human, we're so actively emotional, and depending on the day and what you're feeling, it's everything's a moving target.
But the easy button might be right. And I think that's why we go towards, and it's the right intention, like find the person who's doing it. Success leaves clue, but then the delivery is wrong. meaning like, I just want to pick your brain, because that seems like the easy button to like, I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm just going to cast a wide net with my question so it doesn't box me in. But the converse happens, that you actually, instead of like not being boxed in, you actually give the person who's
yeah, you super laser targeted
give them
diagnosis of what you
anxiety
really
about,
need.
holy shit, is this a 20-hour conversation?
Yeah.
Or, like, I just don't know the time. And like
Yeah.
you said, Greg, I look at things now as return on time. Not, you hear ROI all the time, but I always say ROT, because people, that's like, those are the two things that we kind of have to analyze in our lives. So, not to beat a dead horse, it's something that's interesting, and it's something that's worked really well in my life. I got away from the people that I've wanted to get proximity to. Like you say, I've never really approached it like, let me pick your brain. It's literally, it's been.
Yeah, for me, it's I want to develop friendships with those people.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see someone that's like really just a badass, I call a badass a person that's just successful, whatever that means. And success is, I want to clearly define that. It just means, for me, it means you're passionate and fulfilled and energetic and happy. So if you're a person who loves to surf and like that's your passion, and you surf and you spend time with your kids and you really don't care about money and that's your vibe, I can really resonate with that. I'm like, I need more of that balance in my life. I crave that aspect of my life, to have that carefree. And I can say, I just want to be friends with that person. So I always approach it that way. Like, what can I do to bring this person into my life?
Yeah, because that there's a value proposition, meaning it's not transactional, like you said, and that you're right. That's not what I was trying to get to. I was just trying to say, like, I know, that whoever you get access to, you're going to be able to deliver value, right? Whether it's a different mindset, something, right? And so you have to come with that, is that it's a reciprocal value. It's not just a parasitic relationship of you saying, let me pick your brain, and then someone sitting there just getting their brain picked, right? You have to be committed to the process of doing something in turn for them, right? It has to be a symbiosis.
That's friendship, though. That's actually friendship is really what it looks like. So I think it's important to like curate your relationships. And I think it's important. We've talked about this before, you and me together, where it's like discerning like who you spend your time with. And people think like, oh, that's super like elitist to think like you're not going to spend time with these people. And there's certain people in your life that you've been friends with for 20 years and they're really not serving you anymore. And they're just going the wrong way. And they might start hating on you because your life's taking a different trajectory. I see that a lot with like recent grads, because you'll all come up in the ranks together. You go to high school, you go to college, then you go off to dental school. And now, Johnny and Bobby are still talking about the high school, like prom. And you're like, dude, I'm like a dentist. I've been a dentist for a year or two. Like, oh, you're so freaking fancy with your, your new 3 Series BMW. Like, oh, and you're like, no, I'm just, I just want to grow. I want to do other things. I want to learn. I want to, I value contributing, and there's some degree of pleasure that I got in the car.
Well, I do. You're saying that's okay. I think that's not okay.
No, I'm saying it's good to drop those people.
Right. That's what I call crab pot friends.
What's that mean?
You ever seen a bunch of crabs in a pot?
Oh, they're climbing over each other?
No, well, they're climbing over each other, and as soon as one gets to the top, the other ones try and grab it and pull it down because they're trying to use it as a ladder. So, hey, don't get too far above me. I'll pull your ass back down, whether or not they're making fun of you. So it's
well, like, it hurts their feelings, because like when you see someone kicking ass, it's a mirror in your own face of like, what have I done? And unfortunately, human psychology, we want to compare ourselves. So when you see one of your friends that you grew up with that maybe wasn't as smart as you, but he was disciplined and he put in the hours and the work, and now he's kicking ass, and it can make you feel bad. So I think, but it's important that you are discerning with your time. I'm not saying that the friends you grew up with, if they're not serving you, don't talk to them anymore. You want to be a little bit more discerning, because if you're going to hang out with Johnny and Johnny's, smoking weed on a daily on his couch and not, and he doesn't really do very much, and it doesn't have any redeeming qualities that you want to aspire to have in your life, literally any, you may want to limit your focus with them. But if Johnny is not interested in financial success, but he has an amazing family life and he's into painting, and you could see that being something that you want more of, then let that person into your circle. But I don't have any vanilla friends. If they don't do anything for me, and I'm a dad and I got kids in school, so invariably I get brought out to other dads. Like it's like this weird thing that when we're dads, we get set up on dad dates because the wives are friends, the kids are friends. Mm-hmm. And I'll sit there at dinner and I'll tell my wife, I'm like, babe, that guy was really, really nice. Really nice. Please, I'm never, ever going out to dinner with them ever again, ever. And she's like, "Oh, you're such a dick. What's your problem? Like, why are you like that?" I'm like, "No, just because there's nothing that there's nothing that I want that he has of his life that I want in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're like super like into radio controlled cars and you're just geeking out on that. At least you have passion." I'm like, that passion's cool. I love people that are passionate. If you're vanilla and you stand for nothing and you're making just stupid comments and stupid conversation, like cocktail conversation, I don't have time for that, man. I want people who are hungry and burning with something, no matter what it is. I just love that shit. And that was what that doctor in New York City, remember, I don't want to, there was I don't want to mention his name because I don't want to, he read the book and he called me out of the clear blue. I'm like, "Hey bro, do you know Dr. blah, blah, blah?" And you're like, "Yeah, man, he's legit." I call him. He's like, "Dude, your book was speaking to me." I'm like, "Dude, let's get together." I didn't know what he was like. He's like, "Hey, let's hang out." He actually invited me to dinner with my wife to his friend's house in Miami. I'm like, "Where are we going?" And my wife is like, "Where are we going?" I'm like, "I don't know this dude. I don't even know."
That's hilarious. The fact that you actually went is like,
Well,
blows
look at
my
how
mind.
you and I got together.
Yeah.
So you reach out, we reach out, we get connected on Instagram, and this seems fucking crazy looking back at it. I'm like, "Hey, Pete, fly down, take an Uber to this address. I'll meet you in my driveway." So a grown ass man shows up on my driveway with luggage in his hand to stay the night.
That does seem insane
To
right now.
stay the night
In your playroom.
in my playroom.
It does seem insane.
Yeah. But that's what it was. It wasn't, "I'll pick your brain." It's like, I like your results in life, and there's something that we should
But
form
all
a
right, so
relationship.
look, you bring up a
Not,
perfect example. Back in the day, I saw what you were doing. I wanted to pick your brain, but my reach out to you wasn't, "Hey, Craig, I'm a dentist in Atlanta. I want to pick your brain sometime." Right?
yeah.
It was a lot more like collaborative, right? I wanted to do something, and I don't have the exact verbiage, but it wasn't like, "Let me
Yeah,
pick
I
your
had
brain."
the exact verbiage because it was on my birthday, and it was just like it was beautiful. It was the air's pretty thin up here. I admire what you're doing, and it seems kind of random. I'm reaching out to you, but it was like, "Hey, I admire what you're doing." And the
Right.
really funny thing is I was watching you. I'm like, "Oh shit, super cool!" And it was an immediate next step of like, I want to form a relationship with this person,
You see how
whether or not.
you see how I desperately always, when I'm such a robot sometimes that I know what we're kind of naming the podcast, and I always try and revert back to the name of that, like, stay on topic, stay on topic, stay on
No, it
topic.
is on topic because that's what it was. Our relationship was formed from a very well worded use of the pick your brain, because that's
Right.
what you wanted and that's what I wanted.
100%.
But what
I
we
wanted to come to your practice and poach all the good ideas and leave.
right. No, but I didn't see it that way. I didn't see it that way. And I
Well,
bet
of
you
course I
probably
didn't present it that way.
no, but I know you and you are a little bit more systematic. And then I'm like, "Okay, I want to make a friendship with this guy. And then let's get the wives together and the whole thing." Because for me, I don't want that relationship. I want to have I want to have a full on friendship relationship and share. But the utility of exchanging ideas doesn't give me any reward or any value. You know what I mean? Like, I have to like you. I have to respect you. I can't learn from you if I can't respect you. It's really fucked up. I can't do that. Like it's a
No, it's
fault.
not.
It's a
I get
fault of
that.
mine.
I
I
get that.
can't. If I think it's hard for me to value you if if I don't share your values. So if you're a very smart person but you treat people poorly, I can't. It's hard for me to learn from you. So that's how I go about it. I want to form relationships with people, and fortunately for me, it's easy to do that. And the funny thing is to finish off the New York City doctor story. So my wife is like, I don't understand. What are we doing? And I show up and it's a random guy's house. So there's three couples and one of them is the doctor and his wife. I'm like, "Hi, I'm Craig and I'm here for Dr. So-and-so. And oh, nice to meet you." And we're sitting there. It's like a family style dinner with like meatballs and pasta. And it was the weirdest thing. And it's just like I was welcomed into this sphere of, his friendship. And it was his way, because I could tell he values relationships as well. And he's just like, "I just want to get to know this person. And if it's one night and it feels really awkward, it'll be done. But if it feels really good, it's going to go." And he said, "I know you. I know Christian Coachman says you're a nice guy and blah, blah, blah." So it was a little bit of a credible reference, but it was really cool. And I was like, "This is cool. It's really cool." And I think that's a really good place to.
You took a chance, whereas I would have said zero chance I'm showing up at someone's house, right? But
you would not have done that, Pete.
Yeah, I know, and I'm saying to my detriment, right? So, and that's probably why you are who you are and where you are in life, is because you've said yes to a lot more. Yeah, maybe you've wasted time, quote unquote, more, but you've also had a lot more.
I sold I sold you on that weekend in Delray. You're like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, dude, we drive golf cart. What? It was like, I don't know. It was like getting cold up there. Like, get some sun, man. Come on, we'll hang out. It'll be great. Blah, 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 blah. He freaking flied out. I just remember.
I probably just wanted to get the hell out of it.
We went and had beers. We rode on my golf cart. Oh my God. It's such a good story, bro. We've had so much fun. Such a good story. But it is very appropriate to the topic that we're on, that really it's proximity and build relationships. And when you want to build relationships, one thing about relationships is reciprocity and proximity. Get close and be kind.
Reciprocity, right? I love it. That is the truth, right? And so instead of I'm going to pick your brain.
All relationships are reciprocity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the same thing. I think you stayed at my house and you sent me this really nice letter.
What?
You know? Yeah. You sent me like a really nice thank you letter to my wife more than me.
Oh yeah. Well, okay.
Hey guys, really appreciate it. You know, and it's just cool, man. It's and these are human behavior skills. And for people that don't have the EQ, the emotional intelligence, these are things you gotta do. You gotta do this stuff, and life will magically open up for you. And you're not manipulating people. You're not doing the wrong thing. You know, if you want to get value, you got to be valuable. If you want to, get more love, you got to give more love. All that shit, all those cliche things are so important. And then when you start looking at things as transactional, like, that's why when you said like, hey, I'll take you out for steak dinner.
Well, I was trying to find the easiest way to communicate like something.
You wouldn't fall for that. You wouldn't do that.
No, but trying to say something that I was trying to get to the comment, like you said, the reciprocation of value or impact or something like, can I do for you, without having to come up with an elaborate example. That's all I was trying to do. But it is really important. And we'll kind of close on this, that I think we get one life. I have this big banner in my office, not banner, but a acrylic thing that says, it's the Gary Vaynerchuk, you get one ticket, right? And at the end of our lives, when we have this one ticket and we look back, a lot of the specialness comes from the relationships that we've curated, whether that's personal or professional. And in this context, we are talking about what I started. It was more of the pick your brain is typically a professional relationships, but they evolve into beautiful friendships. Like ours started, right? And not to go back to, I think people are probably over the love affair of Craig and Pete, but it started as something that was professional and then morphed into something that it was obviously personal. And so you get one ticket, you get run. And so I guess my whole thesis is don't blow it on being a great person and someone who has a lot of impact to give to their person with, I want to pick your brain.
Yeah.
Don't blow it with that verbiage. That's it. And maybe this shouldn't have been a podcast in its entirety, Craig, but I think I get it so much and I hear about it so much from my friends, even more so because they're a lot more powerful. I always say I'm the brokest and least successful of all my friends. And I get to hear it from them all the time, right? Just getting like, people asking for time and I can't give it and their approach is wrong and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. I just think it's an important thing. If I had learned that life skill, I didn't say hack. Yeah. I think if someone out there listening can learn that skill of like changing the paradigm of how they ask or communicate with someone that they want to be more like, or someone they want to learn from, that getting the yes versus the no is sometimes massively transformative in their life.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes that can make all the difference in the world. Just getting that one yes from that one person that opens the gate to that network, opens the gate to that knowledge set, opens the gate to that introduction.
Yeah.
It can take your life. It's not just a little bit. It can take your life on a massively different trajectory.
100%.
Yeah.
That's so true. And I think, I think you have, I think it's important that you're going to grow through life. And as you grow, you're going to make new relationships. Hopefully the people that you have grow with you, but humans are dynamic. People get married, they fall in love with each other. They're 25 years old and your spouse goes one way and you go another and you grow out of each other. Right. So I think friendships are the same thing. It's really cool when friendships grow the same way, but always be open for new relationships and mentorships. I had one of my doctors today, like telling me I had to hear it again, obviously, because he told me today, he's like, dude, I'm like, I kind of was giving him a bunch of coaching and talking about things. And I'm like, why I'm doing this, right? And he's like, dude, you are my mentor. You are like, and he said it again. I'm like, I forgot the position I'm in. Yeah. And I'm like, I do not take that lightly. I got like goosebumps. I was like, damn,
I just did too right there, because honestly, I have a different kind of context in that I always tell people, like, if you feel like I'm leaning into you, feel like the easiest thing for me to do in a situation where I see you do something wrong that I could probably coach you on, the easiest thing for me to do is say nothing.
Yeah. Sweaty back conversation.
If I give a shit, no, but if I give a shit about you, right? Or
yeah, you have to have a shit. You have to have
then we're going to have a hard conversation.
A sweaty back conversation.
A sweaty back conversation.
Right. So it's like the life will give you directly in proportion, the results and the reward you get in life are directly proportionate to the amount of hard conversations you're willing to have.
Right.
So everything is a decision tree. Like, I will lean into this or I'll say, fuck it. I'll lean into this. I'll say, fuck it. And if you're constantly leaning in, like the greats, I mean, we talked about Michael Jordan. I mean, holy smokes, talking about difficult conversations.
Right. He leaned into his teams.
I know, but these are superstars.
Superstars, right.
It's one thing to lean into a junior doc you've got 10 or 15 years experience on.
To push into a Scottie Pippen is a different
scenario. Exactly. Scottie, are you here to win or are you here to take a check?
Yeah, right.
Who the hell do you think you are?
Yeah, right.
He's like, I'll tell you who I am. I'm Black Jesus. That's what he said to his teammates. Did you know he said that?
Now all the time. That's it. He's notorious for that in the NFL and in the NBA.
Bro. My God, notorious. I didn't know that.
No, he'd say like, "Don't mess with Black." He'd say, "Don't mess with Black Jesus." But he'd
unbelievable,
throw in. Crazy,
unbelievable. I love that. My God.
Well, see, you busted on my confidence earlier, and talk about Jordan's confidence.
Yeah, I mean,
at least I won't. Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't sound the same to me. let's leave that
it's
alone.
Not as fitting for me. That's for shit
exactly. Sure. Yeah, exactly. But
all right, brother. This is a good
awesome, man.
Appreciate the time, and over and out. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, to another episode, and we will see you next week.